Hey guys, Dan from Next Venture Motorsports here today. We've got Abby's Jeep pulled in here. She is going to be getting our aluminum fender flares put on the back of her JL. She is running 40-inch tires, so we do want to talk about up travel and clearance. So these are a true highline flare. They're actually going to sit up a little bit higher than your factory fender flares, and also comes with a 3/16 thick steel mounting bracket. And once these are installed, they're going to be tied into all of your factory mounting points for the plastic factory fender flare, as well as into 4 of the points that you see here, because it does actually extend up and grab onto these 3 points here, as well as one in the back that you see right now. And that really just gives you more tie-in points, more strength, because as you might know already, these are pretty easy to hit when you're on the trail. It's right here by the departure for the vehicle, coming off of ledges, obstacles, things like that. And you want to be able to distribute that force along the body. This ships as a pair. It's not just a single unit, but I'm just going to show you this one side to begin with. It does ship with a hardware kit. All your nuts, bolts, and squeeze nuts, rivet nuts that you might need to do the installation. It's not going to ship with any of these tools, however, and we do really recommend getting something like this, a rivet nut tool, so you can install the rivet nut, squeeze nuts into the body panels. And there are a couple of ways to get the fender flares off. Depending on how many times your fender flares have already popped off, you might be able to just lean on this and get it to pop off. Pretty easy. I'm going to recommend this kind of tool, however, if you've already got some replacements in there that are a little bit stronger, and probably some safety glasses, because a lot of them like to just shatter and explode. Get a better angle. Enter slow-mo. Yeah, and you'll want to get all of these out of the way, because when we go to install the rivet nuts, squeeze nuts, that's how I like to call them, these are sitting in the factory holes that we want them on. That's how you make it. Can't get that. Oh! You'll want to grab your steel mounting bracket here, and you're going to notice that most of these holes are present on the body. These 3 at the top are actually completely accessible from the back side, so we're going to be inserting these 3 bolts from the inside into these 3 little threaded guys that are already pressed into your mounting bracket. The rest of these, however, you're going to have to install rivet nuts into, and you're actually going to want to drill out those holes to match the rivet nut diameter.
Ready to squeeze them nuts?
Oh, am I ever. So once you've got all your rivet nuts in place, these 3 holes are conveniently open from the back side, and you can hold this mounting bracket up into place and put your 3 small 1/4-20 bolts with the super short length on them through right here to hold this up. Alright, so once you've got it kind of hanging here loosely, I've got all 3 of these in, but they're not fastened. It's going to let me move this around a little bit. We're not going to tighten anything down just yet. We're just going to get everything started. So once you've got all of your hardware in, you can start to fasten it down. You are going to notice that you've got a couple of extra holes towards the back here that you're not using yet. And if you're not trimming all of this out and doing our 40-inch plus kit, you're actually going to just move on from here and leave those open.
Oh, thank God. Woo!
So once you've got those fastened down, all the ones facing this direction, and you can actually leave these loose for now, these top three, because you can tighten those very last. You can move back up to your corner armor. If you've already got our corner armor on here, then pretty much all the work in terms of drilling and rivet nutting is already done. You're gonna pull these top three, as well as this back one right here towards the bottom, in order to tie into all of those points. If you don't have the corner armor, we have this piece available that is effectively a spacer, and this will sit level with the top of your flare. You won't even see that it's there, and that way you can run otherwise no corner armor and not be drilling additional holes in here. If you're looking for the best combination of strength, because you're going to be using these, really using them in the rocks, we recommend tying the flare into the full corner armor. And again, I wouldn't recommend an impact tool on these guys because they are rivet nuts and they might be under tension if you have hit your corners a few times since you installed these. Just go slow. So these three bolts get pulled, as well as that one, in order to tie in with the corner armor. This bolt and this bolt get pulled and replaced with flathead countersunk bolts. Reason being, the flare body will actually overlap and interfere with them otherwise. And when you're installing this flare for the first time, it is worth noting you're going to be using the sockets, not the buttons, where you're tying in through the corner armor. It gives you better clearance. It also has a little bit more engagement on your tool, so it's less likely to strip. And I'm actually going to start with one of those socket head cap screws where it ties through here. So I can pretty much guide my position for installation using this. Once you've got your top three bolts in there, you can go ahead and populate the rest of these loosely. And you really just want to know that everything is capable of lining up. Once you know that it is capable of lining up, go to the back side here and tighten these down. And that is going to make sure that our steel brace doesn't move from here on out. So when you are installing these socket head cap screws, you'll notice that most T-handles are going to be a little bit too big to turn in there. What I recommend is you grab your 3/16 hex bit here and use a 1/4-inch drive ratcheting wrench. And that'll give you a lot better clearance and make this job go a lot easier. All right, so we are on the final stretch here. Everything is installed loosely. And everything is starting to line up pretty well. I did have to push just this corner in a little bit in order to get these to line up. So if you need a second set of hands, sometimes you will need to just move that in, hold it in place. So I like to run, once I've got these first 3 bolts in, I do like to start at the back, work my way forward, because that is the longest piece. It was only out by about 1/8 inch. They're really not that hard to get into position. And you can actually apply just a little bit of pressure when you tighten things up in order to get rid of that gap at the door. And the rest of this, I'd say it's already pretty close to the body, but that is gonna pull in a little bit as we get the rest of the hardware in place all the way. So I'm gonna be starting with these 3, moving my way down there, then through there. I'll actually be saving this guy and these 3 up top for last. So now that everything's tightened down, just go enjoy them. Go wheeling. They're done. They're on. What are you doing? I don't know what's happening. Tyler has some sort of show and shine abilities.
Yeah, definitely. You see my Jeep?
Thank you guys for watching the video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. And hopefully we'll catch you for the next one. See you guys on the trail. Silent whisper would have been better.
I don't know the words to the song. I only know the rhythm it's on.